The snake had shed its skin. Baron Ironblood, arch-terrorist, was now Cobra Commander. He had been attended by the team of international specialists, including a transplant surgeon, his new face crowned by the helmet. The shiny blue uniform resembled a king cobra with its outspread hood. The face was in fact a faceplate, an armoured shield. As Baron Ironblood wearing his Teutonic-styled mask, there had been the increasing danger of an opposing sniper using laser sights to penetrate the visor slits, but that threat was gone. The uniform additionally helped. The tunic had armour woven amongst the fabric. It was in fact a flak jacket. Like the helmet, the uniform was sky blue, so making it difficult to be picked out when standing against the skyline. Similar uniforms, though of a darker blue, would be issued to recruits to the new movement, so again he would not be easily singled out from amongst his followers. He would communicate with the followers by means of shortwave radio receiver built into his helmet, and that helmet was also untouchable. Its rim was lined with plastic explosives. Without a proper coded sequence, anyone attempting to remove the helmet would detonate the explosives. Cobra Commander had now recovered from the laborious series of operations, the last of which had been a course of inoculations to render him immune from cobra venom. Now the specialists who had carried out the operations and fittings were waiting throughout Singapore in hotel rooms for the massive payments they had been promised for their services. Cobra Commander decided to be as swift as a snake deciding to strike. The armourer who had fitted the helmet and the explosives had been fashioned a small hand weapon, a small signet ring that could eject a jet of liquid. The liquid was cobra venom, and the device emulated the spitting cobra who aimed at a victim's face. That was the way the transplant surgeon died in his hotel room, the horror in his eyes mirrored in the commander's faceplate. The Chinese outfitter who had tailored the commander's new uniform and had just finished ordering the 10,000 similar items to be shipped to Singapore died seconds after replacing the telex. With poetic justice, Cobra Commander had used a needle impregnated with venom. For the remaining two specialists, there were faster deaths, as though the commander decided to reward them for their help. The armourer was shot at point-blank range by pistol, and the herpetologist was blown up in his car. The Singaporean authorities would not connect the deaths and would put it down to accidents or underworld feuds. The very next night, the commander slipped across Singapore to pay a visit to the island zoological gardens. He slipped over its fence and entered its silent reptile house. Like an athlete, stripped of his tunic and deliberately entered the cobra cages and aroused the sleeping occupants. He was attacked approximately 40 times, but crawled on from the cage to cage through the masses. Although the bites caused some initial pain, the venom had no effect whatsoever on his system, which was exactly the result he desired. He calmly left the cage, covered all traces of entry, donned his tunic again, and made plans to leave Singapore. A week later, he stood in the clearing in the shadow of the Snake Temple in the Southeast Asian jungle that had been uncovered by a team of red shadows. Amongst the items he had brought with him was a counter defoliant, which he used to spray the undergrowth and halve the thinning foliage. The temple was infested with cobras, but strangely, not one attack was attempted on him. The writhing masses, in fact, made way for him, as though they sensed his near superhuman power. They would, however, turn on any intruder. They would be as useful to his security as a pack of guard dogs, but far deadlier. The commander's next step was to summon men to join his new movement and don similar uniforms. Then he would be ready to spread his new brand of unexpected terrorism, like a poison without a cure, all across the world. Soon, whole populations would be paralysed with the fear at the mention of the word Cobra.